Okay, welcome. I'm gonna run a job today that I got from some eBay orders. Let's see here. Let's open up this EPS file. I got two different files that... Okay, that's the one I need right there. So this one has a couple of Predator USA stickers, and then I've got some Don't Tread on Me. Sorry, my tripod's kind of... Yeah, don't Tread on Me USA, and I'll show you when they're done. Trying out a new tripod method here. Here we go. A little bit closer, sorry. Might seem a little zoomed out. Okay, anyway. So what I've done here, let's pull this up in Adobe Illustrator. Alright, give me one sec here. Orders. Right here. So basically what I've done here, I've got each individual decal, and this one I'm trying something new. I put a border around it, and that is a spot color path. So when I run this, it should cut that out into, that way I could weed Predator by himself if I wanted. I didn't do that with the American flag designs. This is the one customer ordered. Last night I was kind of feeling creative, so I made this one also. I'm gonna send them one of those, see what they think. Now over here I've got all my images into one layer, and then all my contour cuts in one layer. Make sure that contour cut layer is on top if you do this method. You don't have to do it that way. I just do it because I got OCD with things being organized. But everything looks good on this end, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this back up in VersaWorks. Okay, let's click on the settings here, job settings. Now, first thing I look for is all the little ants dancing around the... I don't know if you can see them, but the little ants dancing around the images. And yes, that border I made around Predator is there. Good. Everything looks good on this end so far, so let's go ahead and... Okay, first thing you want to do... Here, I'm just going to hold this thing. So first thing you want to do is get your media width. Okay. I don't really got to change anything there. Change your media type to what you're using. Mine is calendared vinyl. Change your halftone to dither. I'll do a video explaining why. I didn't know in my past videos, but I've learned since. Up here, definitely want to make your crop marks. You can put trim marks, margin marks, all that. I always just leave no marks. I usually use the entire sheet anyway. So I mean, that's if you're doing small jobs. Maybe you're going to package them in professional packaging. That'd be really good for that. Make sure your crop marks are on. I skip cut. Don't really mess with that too much. Now, up here in your actual cut setting, I'm doing print only. Return to origin after print. You're good to go. That's all you need. One thing I'm kind of concerned about with this design is I've never ran this bottom one yet. Let me show you. This is brand new. To see how that's really black. I'm really hoping it doesn't turn out that way. The VersaWorks screen does look a little different than what the actual output is. Okay. As you can see, my ink's getting really low. You know what's crazy about this, Kay? My black was getting down really low, and now I did not change my black, but the black is full. I have no idea what happened. I mean, who knows? Okay, all right, so we're gonna hit print. There we go. Over here. See, This is my brand new black right here. I never changed it, but on VersaWorks it's showing that it's brand new and full. I have no idea what's going on there. Hey, whatever, man. If God wants to come down and fill my ink, or somebody, who knows. But we'll give this machine a minute to kick on. There's a lot going on. It's got a lot of settings to read. First thing it'll do is print those crop marks. Then it will print the job and should spit the job out. One thing I'm still working on, I don't know if you can see, but the crop marks just start here. So we got about, I'd probably say about 4 inches of vinyl up front that's going to go to waste. I use it for vinyl decals that are white only, but I got tons of that scrap left over. So if you can figure that out and tell me, that'd be great. Well, there's that one. We'll get that one started and I'll continue on. So for a quick little video here, I just wanted to show you. Got a 36 inch by 12 long We the People skull flag. This design here, really cool. 36 inches. So I don't know if you can see, but I went in and made weed lines in Adobe Illustrator. There's little tiny ones all over. Just makes it easier. This is in my LXI software for my R series vinyl cutter. So I'm going to go ahead and, while I'm doing my BN20 jobs, I was going to show you this. Just got this loaded up here. So over here on my height, I'm going to go 36. Super big. Now the vinyl I've got in there is 24 inches long. Up here I've got it set for 30 inch, so I'm going to change that to 24. Okay, so see, we got the job there ready to go. I already got my built-in weed lines. Now there's going to be about just under 12 inches of spare white vinyl. That's fine, I can use it for tons of other stuff. And we're good to go. This thing is really noisy. Hit send. This thing will run by itself really well until it gets done. I do have one problem with this cutter. My overcut, like if it's cutting a circle, it'll cut round and it'll stop just before the starting point. In my settings, I've got it set to not do that, but it still does it, so I need to figure that out. Over here, we got the Predator printing with the American flags. Little update on that one. After it gets done, I will laminate it and show you my process. Hope it helps. Alright, the job with the Predator and the American flags is ready for laminating. So, one thing you need to make sure is when you cut it, you have to have at least 2.5 inches of extra vinyl there. And I learned that the hard way. There is a trick if you cut it too short. But it's kind of a pain in the ass. Sorry, pain in the butt. So I just pull it out to where I need it, lock it back up. There's your job. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna want to do is figure out where the best place is for this camera, which will be right there. Okay. So I'm going to do this in a glossy laminate, okay? Let's get this other tripod out of the way. There we go. Okay, so first thing I want to do is get my roll. Right here. This is Prism Jet LFPJ 100, 24-150, if anybody wants to know. Okay. I put the ruler at the other end of the table so the roll doesn't come off, like if it rolls too much there. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is So I line up my crop mark so it's just past the edge of that vinyl. Sorry, that laminate. I got a bad habit of calling the laminate vinyl. I usually have a desk full of Sharpies here, but they keep growing legs. Okay, now up here I'm gonna just mark just past the other crop mark. Down here, I'm gonna mark just inside of the cut job vinyl. Okay. So I put that underneath my ruler there. Pull it up to my my mark that I made. I've got a cutting mat mounted to the table, so I'm just going to line the edge up here as close as I can straight. Looks good to me. Go ahead and cut this. Put your other roll away. Down here on this side, do the same thing. Line up that edge with one of the straight lines on the cutting mat. You don't have to be so accurate on this one, but I've got OCD for things being straight. That's a good piece of scrap. I'll use it for smaller jobs. Sometimes I'll have a job with several different decals and I'll use it on some parts. You can use multiple laminate on one job. Okay, everything looks good. I'm gonna flip this over. You want it so the the laminate is facing down, the sticky edge. And this is gonna make me struggle to get this off because I'm trying to film it. Come on, I don't have these small little hands anymore. Okay, I'm gonna cut off about 1/2 inch of the paper, not the laminate. Just kind of pull it, pull the laminate back while you're cutting. There you go. That little piece there, little tiny little guy. That little guy, don't worry about that little guy. Okay. Now up here, I'm gonna go ahead and line it up, just kind of eyeball it. Make sure you got enough room on the bottom for your ruler, and I'll show you why you need that ruler if you're gonna do it with this process. Okay, everything looks good here. So I drop it down, kind of press on one end. Make sure that's stuck on there. Okay, so you got your laminate stuck to your job. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and feed it in with the laminate up, and so that's going in first. Just give it a little roll. I've got a lot of excess material, back here, which I normally don't, but I love that I do on this one. Okay, so sorry, I'm kind of all over the place with this tripod. Okay, next, get a ruler, grab the edge of your laminate, pull it just past the paper, get enough off there like so. I take my ruler, kind of hold it to the paper, maybe 1/4 inch in, let the laminate fall on it, stick to it. Okay, next thing you want to do, just slowly pull the paper and the laminate apart. Hang on. Forgot one thing. Up here you want to make your rollers, bring your job just up to where it's going to pinch the paper. The laminate paper. Okay. That would have been okay if I did it without doing that, but it's just better. Now see how that just comes right off? Don't worry so much about, unless you're going to save those, I don't care so much about throwing it on the ground there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of hold it down and just slowly roll it back. Now these rollers are really tight, so I'm going to just give them some slack here. Okay. Slowly, slowly. See how, I don't know if you can see, but it really wanted to bunch up in there. Had the rollers way too tight. I use these rollers to press my vinyl decals sometimes. Okay, see how that roller's starting to come around? You want to make sure catch it with your finger so it doesn't drop down. Done that before. It just makes you can actually ruin your job if you let it. Now remember how I was talking about leaving enough for the roller? This is what I'm talking about here. So you get it about there, then you just pop it. Grab the end here, pop, boom. Now since I gave it all that slack, if you look real close, you might see some tiny, tiny little bubbles in it. So I'm gonna go in, reload the job here. Now that it's all laminated, tighten my rollers, just give it another go. You can do this after you cut the job, but I just do it all now. Ready for laminating, or ready for cutting. Okay. As I've shown you before, I'll put it under my ruler here. I'll line up that crop mark center, this crop mark center. Okay, looks good. Right there. And I'll just draw a little mark on the edge of the vinyl down here. See that little pen mark I got? I usually use a Sharpie and just put dots, but can't find my Sharpie. Okay, now come back over here. Unload your roll. Take this. I'm doing this one-handed, so bear with me. Just kind of look at it. Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, now I have got to see how that guard is not going up over the vinyl. So I need to put this camera down for a second. Okay, let me just get that in there. There we go. So you want those guards to be over the vinyl. You got to make sure of that right here. It's got to be over that vinyl. And that little mark that I made lines up with that little cutting pad. That's where you want that. And that's why I put that little mark on there. It's just easier to line up there than way over here. Sometimes you might have a crop mark down here. So now over here, this crop mark, same thing. Line up with that pad. Everything looks good. Okay, so you want to go ahead and lock it. Shut your door. Okay, so there's my We the People job. Skull flag. Really cool. 36 inches. If you want to know what it looks like, it's kind of hard to see with the white. This is a black one, about 24 inches long. I was going to use this one to demonstrate how to put on the larger ones. Predator is done with the American flags. Let's see how she turned out. I'm going to unlock it and grab it before it falls. Okay. Let's do the test. So what I do I just grab a corner of the vinyl here, I pick it up, and I just make sure at least one of them comes right off. Because if one of them does, then you know they're all going to. Looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and finish weeding that and show you. I'll kind of just cut these gaps as I go. See how I just kind of sawed that off there. I want to get this weeded so I can show you something. Like I said, the customer that bought one of these, they bought the top one here, right here, this one. This is the one I made just off a whim last night. Like, I want to see what it looks like in a different style. So I made these ones on the bottom here. I'll show you. Let me just get this shit out of the way. Stuff, sorry. God, I keep forgetting where I'm at. Potty mouth. Okay. I let some of the excess drop down on the sticker there, so I had to kind of fight with it to get it off. I'll kind of pull and drag the knife sometimes. See how that worked? I'm sorry if you can't see. It's the camera's. It's on a new tripod, and I'm trying different angles. Okay, get in there, hang in there. Okay, kind of wiggle it. That works really well when you don't have a giant piece you're trying to peel off. And that whole thing with the weeding lines, see how the Predator still has the white box around it? I added that to make it easier to get all the excess off around it. And if I would have done that with these, that would have been a lot easier. Okay. So that's the one the customer bought right there, and that's a pretty common design you might find on eBay. This is my own version. I made it. I used a more realistic snake, but yeah, it came out really nice. I'm real happy with it. One thing I did notice, and it's got to be something to do with my BN20, but I'll show you right now. Might be hard to see, but there's a little bit of white on the edge here. Now on these smaller ones, it's right up on the blue. Watch. Let's see here. Yeah, see how you can see the white on there? And then here, it's just right on the edge of the blue. I don't know why it does that. It's on the small cutting jobs, I can take the same cut file, drop it down to like 1 inch, and it'll be off. But all my settings, my calibrations, everything checks out. I don't know. That's if anybody on here uses a BN20 and you know what causes that, I would love to know. And I will figure it out. I love troubleshooting and problem solving. In fact, when something doesn't work the way it's intended, it drives me crazy until I figure it out. Okay. This Predator job, I make them small too to fit on the mag well of a rifle. I'll tell you what, man. Weeding these really small like that is awful. So what I started doing instead was I would print them on a piece of clear vinyl. Since there's no white in the image, I print them on clear vinyl. That way when the customer gets it, they just get one piece. They don't have to deal with all these tiny little annoying pieces. Another thing on this is a printed sticker, but it does have to be applied like a vinyl sticker. It's going to have a transfer mask on the top, and same methods. Yeah, that's it. That's the Predator. Like I was saying, really small. This job sucks. I definitely do got to calibrate my machine. Over here I got a little bit of white excess, but I already know that's a design issue. I didn't think it was a big deal when I made the decal, so I kind of left it, but that's what's bugging me, is how this has the white here. All I did was copy this file, drag it over, but over here it's right on the blue. Not a big deal. They're really nice stickers, but the fact that it does that bothers me, and I have to figure it out. Oh, my name's not Reggie Hammond. I'm just kidding. What's that movie? 48 Hours. All right, so let's get this guy finished. I don't know if you want to watch this. I'm not really going to show you nothing new, but you can. I'll leave it on. Any critiques, questions, comments, I really appreciate, because I'm kind of new to the YouTube thing. When I was starting this myself, I would welcome any new information I could find from anybody, because it was I'm very fluent in Photoshop, but I didn't know Adobe Illustrator too well. And I had this mentality that, well, it's Adobe, I can just get on there and buzz right through it. But holy cow, man, there is a lot different things about Illustrator to Photoshop. So I was trying to learn any information I could. I didn't know what spot colors were, didn't know the difference from EPS files to JPEGs, PNG files. I mean, I knew those, but all that stuff, you know, I met a guy that bought a BN20 I was talking to, and he had a cameo silhouette before that. So when he bought the BN20, he assumed that it's like the VersaWorks software was like the Silhouette Studio. It'll copy jobs for you, you know, all that. What he didn't realize, though, VersaWorks is not a design software. It's just a platform to transfer your jobs to your machine. So he bought the BN20 and had all them issues with the, you know, he had to learn how to didn't know how to do all the software, none of that. So there's a lot to learn. So if you're thinking about buying a BN20, make sure you know your files, how to make your files, all that, because it's just going to be a big giant chunk of wasted space if you don't get all that done. That's the job. That's the Predator. American flags. Pretty cool. Okay, thanks for watching.